No, because roadblocks stop the one who is guilty and the one who is not guilty. Narumanya, Nesarumanya, no. We shall never use roadblocks. We must look for the eye of the jigger. And in order to do, when I addressed the parliament in I think it was 2018, I laid out the steps. The step number one are the human sources. The human sources. People will tell you, the one who saw, the one who heard. But as the Honorable Gorobi was saying, in the budget, we are put for technical means, which we have already started deploying. The cameras. You have seen how those cameras have helped us to see what was happening. This wakes up and uses them more effectively. You will see how they will help us to control crime. But also, in my 2018 speech, I spoke about the digital monitors to be installed in every vehicle, every piki-piki. That project was delayed. I don't know why it delayed. General Tumwine was handling it. Even Katumba was involved in that project. This morning I was talking with the new Minister of State proposed Minister for Internal Affairs, David Muhozi. What happened to my project? Why has it not been implemented? Because I don't want any more wasting time in investigations. Every vehicle must have a digital monitor. Every piki-piki must have a digital monitor, centrally monitored. If you try to remove it, we shall see you and go for you. You touch it like this, the system will show us that somebody is trying to remove that digital monitor. And the digital monitor will show us where you are at any one time if we are interested in you. We have no interest in your clandestine activities. As long as you are not near the scene of the crime. As soon as there is a crime, we go. Which vehicles were here? So instead of wasting time, this one, wait, no, it will be much easier. So I really demand, this is I have told General Muhozi, the CDF and Minister designate for Minister of State, to check what has happened to that plan. Wasting time looking here. No. Which vehicle was here? Which vehicle, which piki-piki was here when this happened? Then we shall not be wasting time. It's not really that difficult to stop these parasites. I call them a name I call them, you know, the other four-legged animal. It's not me, it is Jesus. Jesus is the one who said so in the Bible. He said, don't put your valuable things before pigs. Because the pigs don't appreciate value. So if you put value before pigs, they will trample on the valuable things. The third solution is forensic capacity. Forensic. Criminals will never commit a crime and not leave a trace. It's not possible. Even these criminals who shot at Katumba, they were seen One of them dropped a handkerchief, a cloth, dropped a cloth. It is on the videos. Lokech told me, I've not watched, but Lokech told me. So one of them dropped a cloth. But our people picked the cloth and took the villagers when they come. They should, because that cloth has got all the story about you, the thief. It has got your DNA, your sweat. You sweat there a little bit, bas, QAD. We shall take it to the laboratory. The DNA will tell us this. The forensic capacity of the police has now improved. We can quickly, but you must respect the scene of crime. The person who took the cloth, Yat Kolabubi. And if you still have it, please, bring it back. Although you have added your own sweat and your own what, maybe there's still some chance of, if you have not washed it, there may be a chance of helping us. Now, one of the techniques we developed, after this one, I got it from the police. I didn't know. The police are the ones who told me. They call it fingerprinting the guns. I didn't know that it had its own fingerprint. But these policemen knew. They told us in our security meetings, yeah, but we can fingerprint the guns. So I said, okay, you do it now. So they have fingerprinted most of all the, I think either all or most of the guns in Uganda. And what Lokech is telling me, they have already known the fingerprint of these guns, which were used in the Katumba incident. They have already known the fingerprints. Then we have got other digital means, which I don't want to talk about, because the criminals are also listening. So I should not talk about everything. Kandekerao. But also, when it becomes necessary, the alertness of the public. Because if the public is alerted, although I don't want you to really, my girls, the one who helped us to kill Chidawarime, the one who was killing people in Masaka. That was because of the mobilization of the public. So I don't want Uganda, therefore, we are working very hard. The new team of security, the new Minister of Internal Affairs, the Minister of Security, I want them to solve the issue of, because I don't want Uganda a land of bodyguards, what? No. We should not have bodyguards going with us all over the place. We should have collective eyes which can see what is happening, even if I don't have bodyguards with me. I will be guarded by the collective. So this bodyguarding and all that convoy is what? This is just temporary, because we still have those gaps in the security infrastructure. Therefore, the schemers of insecurity are wasting their time. They only provoke us to wake up and create more capacity. Like in Karamoja, there are people who are making a mistake. They will see what will happen to them. Because I have got the reports I want those pharaohs, the ones who are working with the Turkanas, to stop. I also contact His Excellency Kenyatta. Those characters who are working with the Turkanas and then they steal cows, go and hide them in Kenya. Kenya these are our brothers. We shall go for you jointly with I would appeal to His Excellency Kenyatta to deal with those criminals in Karamoja. We will see it will stop. We increased the army strength. We had brought down army strength to 40,000 in the past because we didn't want to have, but now we have scaled up to a higher figure, and we can scale up if it becomes necessary. Now, the attack on Katumba was not an ordinary crime. It's not that it's crime. No. This was a definite political motive, and we shall know which pig was behind this one, because there are different pigs. Now, this business, people who use assassination, these are people who are not sure of themselves. They are the ones who use assassinations. NRM never uses assassinations because we are sure of ourselves. Why should I kill you because you are opposing me? Why? If I am right and you are wrong, why do I kill you? I should preserve you so that you continue making your mistakes. And then the people see that I am the one who is right and you are the one who is wrong. When you kill somebody, actually you save him. Because when somebody dies, oh, that man would have done us very good things if he had lived. Maybe the man would have done nothing. But you kill him, you make him a hero. Because you don't allow him to do what he wants. You do what you want to do, let him also do what he wants. So that the people can see who is right and who is wrong. Now there are so many people I would have killed because they were annoying me. One of them is Sisi Ogwar. Sisi Ogwar, I used to call her Dako Marach, the bad woman, because she had really a bad tongue. But if I had killed Sisi Ogwar would be a hero now. People would be saying, if Sisi Ogwar had not died, great things would have happened. But now, I'm here with Sisi Ogwar, people. It's really bankrupt to kill people. The Besigye, if I had killed Besigye would be a hero in the memory of the people. Oh, Besigye would have done a big thing if he had lived, but he was killed. That's how Jesus became a hero. If those Romans had not killed Jesus, I don't know what would have happened. So, bankrupt. If you see groups which use assassination, those are bankrupt groups. That means they are not sure. Why should I kill you? I am sure of what I am saying. You continue saying what you are saying, but say it peacefully. Please don't disturb our peace. Then we shall see who is right. If you are right, I will join you. I will leave what I'm doing and join you. If I'm right, you join me. What's the problem? Why should I kill anybody just because we don't agree? Now, the ministers have brought to you a list of ministers and vice president and prime minister and deputy prime ministers. I hear that many of you are Christians, but many people do not understand Christianity very well, although they talk about it. Jesus, when he started his movement, there were intellectuals. They were called Pharisees, highly educated people. There were other people called Sadducees. There were others called Levites. These were all, I don't know, I would ask the archbishops to help us with describing to us those highly educated people. But Jesus went for the fishermen. Jesus did not recruit Pharisees. He did not recruit Levites. He did not recruit the other one, Sadducees. He went for Simon Peter. And he went for, of course, he had also some intellectuals, because I'm told that Luke was a doctor. So please, when you look at my list, know that I'm in the path of Jesus Christ. But my list, because I was underground, I was doing things that quite, when you are comparing the list, you are under very big threat. So I was operating underground alone. This is one area where I don't need assistance. Now there is one, of course, it's a fantastic and pleasant job. You are so good, so many of you are so good. I don't know what to do. I look at this one, I say this one, but now the tribe, now the religion, the balance. In 1953, I attended a pre-primary in a girls' school where we were only 4 boys. To be in a girls' school when you are boys, please, we really suffered. Those girls can be very bad. So in 1953, I graduated from 1B to 1A. And I went to the primary school, the P1 proper. And that's where I learned all the what do they call them? These multiplication, dividing, those signs, the dividing, the subtracting, the adding. That's why I learned those. Now, in forming the cabinet, I really used those. I was adding, subtracting, then dividing, then coming back. So in the process, and the people are so good, really the NRM has done a fantastic job. You MPs, you are wonderful. You are a wonderful crop. So when I'm looking there, it's all my Endari. This one is good, but I must get the limited number. So in my short list, I had got somebody, one of our people, Kabyanga, who was recently our mayor in Kasese. He is on my short list, but in the final, because when I surfaced, when I came from underground, my secretary said, you type this for me, because I was hiding from. Then I forgot the Kabyanga's name, but I would appeal, I want you to, Kasese must have somebody. Kabyanga's name was there, but because of that being underground, there are some disadvantages in being underground, but also some advantages. Because I surprised you. I surprised you with all my fishermen, my what. Now, in Amos Rugorovi's speech, which is a wonderful speech, as you heard, well delivered, on page 7, page 7, para 20, that's where you have the Banyankwere proverb. Banyankwere proverb, omugwera katweka enyanja otahira wabaraguruka. A madman set fire to a swamp. And you know swamp grass does not burn easily. But it, Kuwarawaruka is burst, not burn properly, but somehow. So the NRM is like the madman. We have been struggling against social underdevelopment. Now, in paragraph 20, there is some evidence that although the swamp is not fully burnt, at least Kubarabaruka. Because the Honorable Gorobi read, Mr. Speaker, the recently concluded household survey reports that poverty has declined from 21.4% in 2016-2017 to 20.3% in 2019-2020. Okay, that's interesting, but not as important as the next one. Poverty rates reduced in West Nile Bunyoro and Elgon regions, among others. However, 39% of Ugandan households are still in subsistence economy. You may not understand the importance of this. Not a negative statement. The way it is written, it sounds negative, but actually it is positive. Because you remember, in 2013, 68% of the homesteads were in the subsistence economy. 68% were in subsistence economy. Now we are being told that according to the recent household census, only 39% are still in the household, what do you call it? Subsistence economy. Oh, which means now 61% are in the money economy. It is the 39 who are still in the subsistence. This is great news. This is great news. That means that we have really done something in the last, because we remember we started in 2013. That's when we started this campaign. And people were saying, but the things we are giving, where are they going? The Operation Wealth Creation has been giving. Because I was still using the old figures of 68% in homestead incomes. Now, apparently it's not that. What we have done has not been for nothing. People have moved. In the money economy now, the household are 61%. It is the 39 which are still in the subsistence economy. That means we are really moving. But it may not be clear if you are not as alert as I was when he was reading. Now, finally, 2 points. The Honorable Gorobi was talking about the human capital, the training, the what. But another very happy phenomenon. Recently, I met some young people, doctors, led by a young girl, a doctor, Emukenyi, who is a doctor. Do you know Bakenyi, you people? Many of you don't know our country. Yeah. But this young Mukenyi doctor and her colleagues, who came with some elders, including Professor Maswa, they said, now we have a new problem. I said, what is the new problem? There are too many doctors, they can't get jobs. I said, that cannot be true. We cannot have a problem of too many doctors. That some of them are not absorbed, they don't get jobs. So they stay floating on the streets. That one will be cured immediately. I didn't know. If we have got too many doctors, we are now going to have doctors at the sub-county. You remember Health Center 3? How can we say we have got too many doctors? I told Professor Maswa, have you told these young people what WHO tells us? WHO tells us that we should be having 1 doctor for every 500 population. So since Uganda now is 42 million people, I think they are using the figure 42 million, it means 84,000 doctors. But we are talking over only something like 5,000 in the government service. So the new minister, the new minister of health, the new prime minister, please, I don't want to hear the issue of unemployed doctors. Every doctor who qualifies must be taken on by the government. And then we scale them down to the sub-county. Let's have a doctor at each sub-county, not one. Because if you say the sub-counties are just 2,000, actually, 2,000. So if we have a doctor, one at the sub-county, that means we absorb 2,000. If we get more, we have two at the sub-county. So that we don't have patients coming from the sub-county to the district. No traffic of disease should be blocked there. Only referral cases should come to the health center for, because at that time we had few doctors. We had gone up to the health center for. But since we have got many doctors now, let's go down to health center 3. Have 1, have 2, have 3, and build up, so that all the diseases are localized. We don't have to have this traffic to Kampala, to Morago, to what? No. Let all the diseases be handled in Ntungamo, Mtibesha too. That's what they used to call Ntungamo, the sub-county. The sub-county where I was born. Now, finally, in Mr. Gorobi's speech, there was one thing which I think we may have to look at. The 8% tax on the fish maw. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they call it enuni in Uganda, the fish bladder. That fish bladder apparently is very much in high demand in some places, in China especially. And with my people, you remember the other time in the State of the Nation, I told you that Uganda can earn $156 billion each year from this fish maw. Now, one of the problems we have, which I want to write, is that China has put a tax on this fish maw entering China. So if you also put another tax here, I think we're undermining ourselves. I want to write to the President of China to ask him to remove the import tax on the fish maw. Now here you are putting a tax. That's not correct. I think we should do. And we are going to introduce we can create many jobs. The Minister of Fisheries of State, Helen Adoa, she knows the story. She knows the story of how we can use this fish maw to create a lot of jobs. So with these few words, I congratulate the Honorable Amos Gorobi for reading the speech on my behalf. He has relieved me of the burden of having to read the speech myself. And you can see how I am learning how to exploit younger people. You exploit them, let them be able to do the work. And you just watch from behind, you see how they are doing the work. Many of these people, some of these people I have nominated to you, I have been studying them for a long time, and you will know more about them. Some of them have got very good qualities. The loyalty, they don't have endari, eyes which are squinted. Looking this, you don't know whether he's looking at you or looking at. Hard-working, not corrupt. So I thank you. I congratulate the Honorable Amos Gorobi for his speech. Thank you very much.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for fulfilling your constitutional obligation. And now this august House and the whole country pick the main points of the policies and development plans that you have in place for this next year. Honorable members, let me confirm one thing before I adjourn. I wish to confirm that the issue of the list that the President has been talking about, I wish to confirm that he had made it very secretive, to the extent that even the Speaker did not know about it. Today, Your Excellency, when we started the debate on the motion for resolution of Parliament to vary the number of cabinet ministers and other ministers in accordance with the Constitution, the issue arose that why are we debating this when the list is already out? Mr. Speaker, you must be in possession of this list, and now you're presiding over a Parliament that is going to be a mere rubber stamp because you have already taken a decision on this matter. By the grace of God, Your Excellency, I had not yet received the list. So that worked in my favor. So I honestly told this House that I have not seen the list. And truthfully, I have not seen the list. I think this now goes to the story of the first shall be last. I'll be the last to receive the list. Everybody has the list. And you can even see how he has cleverly done with the estimates. That letter I received in exercise of the powers vested in the President by Article 99(1) and 4 of the Constitution, I have directed Honorable Amos Logolobi, the Member of Parliament for Ntenjero North, Kayunga District, to lay before Parliament on my behalf these estimates. No mention of any other thing. And even when he's congratulating him, he's still very careful about calling him anybody else. Mr. President, give me that list so that we become comfortable. All these members you are saying Vice President designate, you don't mention a name. Prime Minister designate, you don't mention a name. People are still wary about what the situation really is. That being said, honorable members, you will recall that in the past, we used to have cocktails immediately after the budget. We also used to have group photographs immediately after these great speeches, budget and state of the nation. But due to COVID, this is not very possible now. But I'm going to seek the indulgence of the President to allow at least some place. And I'm requesting him to allow us take a picture with yourself, sir, the First Lady, the Speaker, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Logolobi, the person who read the budget speech, the Clerk to Parliament, and the Sergeant at Arms. Also already brought before this House, designated, not just designated, but approved, Leader of the Opposition and the Chief Opposition Whip. I'm not sure if I say Prime Minister designate, I don't know who will come. Because the way the President has put it, just said Prime Minister designate. There was no name. So if you suspect that you are the one, I'm going to put you on the list of Government Chief Whip designate. If you know you are the one, or you suspect reasonably to be the one, you can show up. The Vice President designate. Please, if you feel you are the one, march forward and take this picture with the President and the Prime Minister designate. These are the people I'm proposing could join you in the photograph. But if you are not sure, please remain where you are. Finally, sir, the appointments committee was established this morning. We are trying to be very innovative in the way we handle business. We recall that on the 4th of this month, we handle our members of the Pan-African Parliament within the State of Nation address. That was part of the innovation we created. Today was just supposed to be the budget speech, but we also, on the order paper, added items like approval of the appointment committee and the motion on varying the number of cabinet ministers and other ministers. This is part of the innovation. So we now have an appointment committee in place, ready, the list that will submit to Parliament accordingly. So we are essentially ready. So I'm hereby calling upon members of the appointment committee that there will be a meeting on Monday. All of you should be there, whether we're going to start the approval processes or just prepare the ground rules, so now we're going to proceed. Monday, 11 o'clock, please come. We'll be meeting in the conference hall in Parliament. Honorable members, the situation of COVID has become really, really bad. As you are aware, the second wave of COVID-19 has escalated in the country with several persons infected. The second wave is highly infectious and very deadly. Parliament as an institution has been affected, with some members and some staff currently sick and on treatment for COVID-19. I therefore would like to remind the members that Parliament has a medical insurance scheme that should be helpful to you. Kindly seek immediate medical attention should you feel unwell. You are advised to stay away from duty should you develop COVID-19 symptoms until you are tested. Always keep the Parliament medical team and the Office of the Speaker or Deputy Speaker informed. In the interim, access to Parliament shall be closed to the members, staff, and the public on Saturday 12th and 13th June 2021 to allow for fumigation of the precincts of Parliament to be done. Honourable members, once again, I want to thank you for the usual civility you have demonstrated in the course of this budget speech. I am thankful to you. And when the President says we have got a good breed this time, I agree with him that we will do work for the people of this country, focusing on the national interest and better service delivery for our people. Our job is cut for us to cause socio-economic transformation in this country, make our people better than they are at the moment. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, we have to formally close this sitting, but today is not like the other sitting we started in the morning. So now I want to formally go to the process of adjourning the whole proceedings. At this moment, if you would like to leave, sir, I would suspend the House and let you go while I prepare to now close the House a little later. We do the photograph.
Ladies and gentlemen, viewers of UBC TV, once again I want to thank you so much for being part of the national budget reading today at the Independence Grounds here in Kololo. Now, it is the first budget being read from here. Remember, this is all happening in the wake of COVID-19, and more so the second wave that seems to be spiraling and taking a very big toll on Ugandans. So we need to be very careful as we follow trends and events here in the country and of course globally. Now, the Honorable Lugolobi, Minister Designate or an incoming Minister, State for Planning, in the Ministry of Planning, Finance and Economic Development, has read the budget. It is his first budget to read. Remember, the Minister, the appointed Minister or the Minister Designate for Finance, the Honorable Matia Kasaija of Buyanja, read 5 budgets in the previous term, but also read the last budget during Honorable Maria Chwanka's term. Remember, the Honorable Maria Chwanka, when she was appointed Minister of Finance, she read 4 budgets, and what would have been her 5th budget was Honorable Matia Kasaija's first budget. And the Honorable Matia Kasaija honorably read all the 5 budgets for the term that he served as Minister of Finance, and by the grace of God, again, he was reappointed, still in the same docket. And so it surprises so many people, but remember, he's not sworn in, and the president has a discretion constitutionally to choose a member of parliament to read the budget on his behalf. And so the honor today went to the Honorable Amos Lugolobi, who was also served as the budget committee chairperson in parliament for quite a long time. And of course, his knowledge on budget affairs and budget issues is what nobody can doubt. He's read it, and His Excellency the President has repeatedly and severally thanked him and recognized him for that reading of the budget. So he goes in record, of course, for also having had an opportunity to read to the nation the budget which just happened today. Now, the tradition of having a group photograph of members of parliament has since because of COVID-19. And so as you can see, the speaker has read out just a few names of the president and the first lady, the vice president designate, prime minister designate, the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, 2 members from the opposition, the leader of opposition, the Honorable Mathasi Mpuga, the opposition Chief Whip, the Honorable J.B. Anambeshe from Anjia in Bududa, and of course the Honorable Amos Lugolobi, who read the budget this afternoon, together with the Clerk to Parliament and the Sergeant at Arms. Remember, this is a parliamentary affair. But just let you know that the East African Treaty suggested or recommended that partner states or partner countries will read the budget on the same day. And what you see happening here in Uganda is what has also happened in Nairobi, Kenya, and also in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Now, for the other partner states, countries like Burundi, their financial years run during the month of January. And South Sudan, one of the new entrants into the fraternity, has not yet harmonized their budget reading to coincide with the rest of the countries that form the East African community. So that's what it is like. Now, to maybe just get you through briefly, we will sing the national anthem and see the president off, and then we'll get back to discussion. Thank you very much. And that now marks the end of today's budget reading here at the Independence Grounds in Kololo. And like I said earlier on, the Honorable Amos Lugolobi had the honor to present and to read this budget on this day on behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Like I told you, 3 East African countries have read their budgets on this particular day today. And joining me here is the Member of Parliament representing Nakawa East, the Honorable Engineer Nsubuga Balimwezo. Well, I want to thank you so much, Engineer Balimwezo. This is the first time that you are attending a budget speech as a Member of Parliament. Sure. Let me hear your thoughts, because you've been watching budget speeches from the comforts of your home. Now you are a Member of Parliament seated there, and the budget is being read before you. Let me hear your thoughts on the budget that has just been read this afternoon.
There are a few things that I have loved from the budget, most importantly on energy. Energy, it is thought that people are going to be given free connections, and I think that is good. Then secondly, the tariffs are supposed to reduce so that we can be able to at least save our forests, because most of the times we usually find deforestation going on because of biomass. So by us at least getting affordable tariffs, we shall be able to save our forests so that we don't expend money on planting more trees. Okay. The other thing is that, military security has been given a lot of money, 6.9 trillion. And yet currently we have our health sector going so low. When you look at the 576 billion of money that has been allocated to COVID, and yet COVID is now the pandemic that is killing our people, I believe that security would have not taken that much, so that we can basically secure a little more money for our people.
Honorable Nsubuga, on that particular one, I've been following the Kenya, and on security itself, they've put Kenya shillings, 170 billion shillings, which translates into about 5.5 trillion Uganda shillings. Looking at Uganda at 6 trillion and Kenya at 5.5 trillion, don't you think that both countries in the region have seen security and governance as one of those things that need to have a lot of money to manage all the other issues?
But you realize that Kenya is at more risk because of Somalia, which is close to them, than Uganda. Currently, as we speak, we have no war at all. We don't expect any war in the nearest future. And we believe that the greatest now insecurity that we have is that of the disease, and particularly COVID, that is taking our people. So we should have invested more on COVID, on fighting COVID, because we need a healthy community. It is the healthy community that is productive, that will be able even to meet the budget. Okay. Otherwise, if our people are not healthy, we shall expend lots of money on them. Okay. And eventually we lose out on meeting the targets of our budget.
Just before I let you go, Honorable Nsubuga, you will notice that this budget was passed by the 10th Parliament sometime in May, before you took oath of office and before you came in. It's a budget that was passed, but of course you're supposed to debate it after this budget speech. What are going to be your feelings on the floor of Parliament? Do you think certain things need to be adjusted here and there, or it is something that we need to support for the good of all our people?
You know, there is a lot that the 11th Parliament has got to do on this budget, because we usually pass the supplementary budget. I know where there are gaps. We shall have to basically pass the supplementary, but we have to critically look at it and advise and debate it, so that people may get to know the value of having a good budget. Yes.
Finally, I just want to say sorry to you and to ask you to accept our condolences. We heard you lost your mother. She succumbed to COVID-19.
Yes, I want to inform my colleagues that COVID is real, and it is only when you get a patient that you realize that you have to do a lot, particularly in fighting COVID. Yes, it's real. Okay.
Please accept our condolences from Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, and we want to wish you all the best. Now, joining me here is the Opposition Chief Whip, the Honorable J.B. Nambeshe, a Member of Parliament representing the people of Manjia County in Bududa, in Elgon. Congratulations, first and foremost, for your appointment as the Opposition Chief Whip. And just briefly, before you get to the Parliament, what are these eminent plans that you have as the Whip of the Opposition? Will you manage the task and the job?
Yeah, actually, I know the people who have entrusted me with this responsibility have confidence in me, and they trust that I'll measure to the expectations. As a matter of fact, mine is simply to be an intermediary between the leadership of opposition, or you have a number of parties, and then the members, and with the colleagues, whips of these other parties. We have a party like FDC, it has a whip. We have UPC, we have DP, we have even the PPP. One, yeah, he whips himself by virtue of.
And the Basaliro is one, so he whips himself.
Representation of a party in the parliament according to the Administration of Parliament Act. That one automatically becomes a whip of her own self. And so is my brother Asumani Basaliro. He's a whip of his own self for the party of Jema. So I know all this, we know each other, and we are interacting well. And it is about ensuring attendance of parliament by members and even the proceedings, and especially during voting, to ensure that members of the opposition are present.
As opposed to the other new members of parliament who just came in, and of course this has been their first time to be part of such an event, you were in the 10th parliament, and you debated, you discussed, and you're one of those that passed this particular budget that we talk about sometime in May. What are your feelings and thoughts about the budget itself, as opposed to the others who have just had it being read here? You contributed to making it. Is it a pro-people budget? Is it a good budget according to you, and will it give us the desired aspirations?
This budget is not people-centric, as a matter of fact, and we, a minority, we have had our say on it before it was passed, and the majority, of course, had their way of passing it in the form it way. The lion's share are three in this budget. Debt payment of both domestic and foreign debt is huge. It is about 22 trillion. And besides that, another lion's share goes to security. Moreover, Uganda is not in any state of war. And three, infrastructure development. And that is not the priority for the Mwananchi. If it were for a people budget, it should have looked at the resilient sectors, and especially this pandemic that is ravaging the entire world, COVID-19, which has actually inflicted devastating effects on the economy, has already showed to us that the resilient sector was one. I must say two. Agriculture remained. If it were not for agriculture in Uganda, many.
Because the virus does not affect agriculture.
And indeed, people continued even in the lockdown to till their land. And that helped a great deal during shutdown, during lockdown. It was a sector that should have been given, all manner of focus should have been concentrated. But look at the parliamentary budgetary allocation that has been given to that sector. Meaning that the government in power doesn't know the priority of the people. And two, health as a sector in the face of this ravaging pandemic should have received a lot more allocation to improve on the healthcare services. As we are reliably being informed that numbers, these hospitals that are attending to the COVID-19 patients are overwhelmed by numbers. Meaning that they don't have the facilities, they do not have the equipment, they do not have the drugs, they do not have the capacity, therefore, to contain the ravaging pandemic. Now we are talking of COVID-19, but there are new variants. Maybe we have also COVID-20, and could be COVID-2021.
It's 19 with variants. It's just 19 with variants.
Well, they have come in in those 2 years. So they should also receive their baptismal name. 2020, we have a variant of 2021. Then since we are still expecting many more mutations, then 22 will also come. But the challenge that Ugandans have to grapple with are the misplaced priorities by government. How do you give a hoping to security? And besides that, there is also classified funding or funds do not allow you to know the breakdown. So all that money is it to procure nuclear and to hit who? To hit the pandemic?
But you've also heard that during times of peace is when you plan for war. You do not wait for a war to break up, then you start procurement of equipment and the vessels that you need for a particular combat.
Would you say for sure that Uganda is in peace? Uganda is having peace of mind? Because peace of mind, absence of war does not necessarily mean that there is peace or presence of peace. The people of Uganda, given the challenges that they are going through, that they are grappling with in the face of the pandemic, given the economy that is now punching below its weight, we are actually faced with a recession. This parliament, unlike other parliaments, is discussing expanding spending, public spending, instead of ensuring that we nip in the bud those government inefficiencies, we cut back wasteful expenditure and then widen the tax base so that the economy could help the Ugandan to have good health care, help the Ugandan even to educate the child. But as we talk, all funding going to security because you are preparing for war in advance. When you are not, how do you prepare in anticipation?
Well, I just...
Our rules of procedure, even preparing in anticipation is a breach.
We need to look at your minority report, but I want to thank you so much, the Honorable H.E Nambeshe.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Nambeshe is the government, I beg your pardon, he's the opposition chief whip, and of course these are his thoughts and feelings about the budget that has just been read this afternoon here. And of course joining us here is another legislator, and to also hear from him what he thinks about the budget that has just been read today in relation to the aspirations of the government and of course the needs of the people. What do you have to say about the budget, Honorable Member of Parliament?
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Katenya Isaac, Member of Parliament for Bulambuli constituency. Well, the budget has got so many key things, especially on the issue of security. It has catered well, but there is a need to increase the budget for agriculture because Uganda being an agri-based economy, operating an agri-based